Okay, we got a bunch of problems on this video. We have 3 different slides. You're not going to see all the problems right at the start, but they're all pretty short. So, um, which two, oh, how are the two angles related? Here, let me just grab this a second so I can, yep. How are the two angles related? Well, we can see that the two angles given to us, the 60-degree angle and the 120-degree angle, together they add up to 180. And when two angles add to 180, we call them supplementary. Adjacent means right next to with a shared side, no space in between them. There is space in between them, so they're not adjacent. Vertical angles would be congruent. Those vertical angles are like these two angles, okay? And that's not what's going on here in this illustration, this diagram. It's not that. And complementary only adds up to 90, but they add up to 180. So we've got A as our answer for 35. Now, moving on, we say, name an angle supplementary to COD. COD is right here. Okay, so if we want an angle that was supplementary that added to 180 with it, you could say either angle COA right here, because you can see that those two together make 180, angle COA, otherwise known as angle AOC, or you might have, let me put this line back, you might have this angle right here, DOE. They both form those straight angles, angle DOE, otherwise known as angle EOD. Okay? Either one of those will be supplementary to COD. So what do we got? BOD, no, that's not a choice. COA, COA, yeah, that's a choice. That's this one right here. AOE, nope. COB, nope, none of those are the choices. So there we go. They were talking about angle COA, that pink one. So we're done. Okay. There's 2 different angles here. The pink one that I've traced out and the purple one that I've traced out. Both of those could be, and they each have 2 names. So we could have had any one of those 4 answers and it would have been correct. But okay. Now number 37, name an angle complementary to BOC. Let's trace BOC out. We'll do it again in green. And we need an angle complementary to it. Complementary adds up to 90. So notice what we see here. We get rid of that for a second. We see this right here. We see that telling us that this angle, angle AOB, is 90 degrees. And since we see that this angle and this angle together form a straight angle, then we know that if this one's 90, this whole thing right here, BOD, needs to be equal to 90. Okay, if we didn't have that mark over there, we had no way of knowing that this was 90 or something like that, we couldn't definitively say that this angle and this angle together make 90 degrees. But since we know that this is 90, we know that this is 90 as well, and therefore these 2 angles sum to 90. So BOC, right here, is complementary with COD right here, because this one and this one make the other half of the straight angle, the other 90 degrees of the straight angle. So the angle COD is the answer to this one. Great. We've got a few more. Okay. Name an angle vertical to EGH. Let's trace out EGH. It's this right here. Well, I want you to think of these as 2 rays. And actually, I'll just do that. Okay. They're 2 rays originating at G, right? Now, if we went in the other direction for ray GE, like this, okay, and we went in the other direction for ray GH, like this, okay, the opposite rays for any angle will be the angle that's vertical to it. So now we have a vertical angle to angle EGH, which is called either angle FGI or angle IGF, depending on which endpoint you started at, or which ray you started on, I should say, because it's not an endpoint with a ray. But IGF, that is this right here. Okay. Now, 39 says, name an angle adjacent to DGE. Well, adjacent means a shared side. So DGE right here. Okay. So an angle that's adjacent to it could be anything that's got a shared side. So it would have to be called either DG something, some other point, or something GD going the other way, or either EG and then going to the other ray, EG something or something GE. Okay, and we see EGH right here, meaning it goes from E down the ray to G and then out to H. And what's the requirement? Just that they share a side, that they're adjacent. Okay, so we know that they have to have a shared ray, and therefore they're going to have the same vertex point, right, at G, but it's got to go along one of the rays. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, it might be easier for me to explain that to you in person. But again, adjacent says shared side, so we need to find an angle with a shared side, and we have in angle EGH. Okay, we've got one more problem to do on the next slide, or two more on the next slide, rather. Okay, and these are just kind of definitional. Supplementary angles are two angles who have the sum of supplementary 180. Remember, my little trick here is supplementary. There's two p's. That's twice as much as the one p in complementary, because supplementary is twice as many degrees as a complementary set of angles. Supplementary is 180, complementary is only 90. Okay, so 180, 90, that is D. I don't know if that makes sense, but twice as many p's in the middle means twice as many degrees. That's a hint for you to remember. Now, number 41, last one in this video. Two angles whose sides are opposite rays, like here's a set of opposite rays, and here's another set of opposite rays. Okay, what do they form? They form these vertical angles. So we want an answer that starts with vertical. So it's going to be either A or C. Now, two coplanar angles, meaning they got to be on the same flat surface, the same plane in order to work, because they could look differently than that, and I can explain that in class. They can be non-coplanar as well. But two coplanar angles with a common side, a common vertex, and no common interior points. Common side, let's draw that. Common vertex, they're all coming off of that. They're both, let's say, coming off of this point right here. Okay. Common vertex, shared side. Let's say they share this ray, and no common interior points. There's no overlap. Okay, that's the definition of adjacent. Right next to each other, sharing a side, not overlapping, no gap in between, and they share the same vertex point. Okay, they can't do something like this. Okay, then that's adjacent, and that is answer A. Okay, we're done.